Good morning, guys. Welcome to BP Farming. Today we're going to take a look at our Geringhoff cornhead we went over and purchased. We're going to look into getting the chains off, see if we can free those up, clean the deck plates. Going to make this thing nice. So right here we have our 2012 Geringhoff 12-row folder. You can tell because it doesn't have the end augers. Our 2019 S780. Then over here we have our 2013 Geringhoff that we just went and got. Now it's going to need some work. Price was right, but we need to clean this up. We can make a head out of it, but we're going to have to work at it. So this is our 2013 Geringhoff North Star folder. It's a 12-row 30. And our 2017 S680, which we've had now for several years. Now this head's a lot lower acres than the head we have now. Your good indicators are your welds here, your spirals, the knives. And also when you look underneath, you can see your gearboxes here are fairly square. As those heads get 20+ thousand acres on them, they start to round that. You can see where the corn's rubbed on the aluminum and kind of just polishes and rounds everything, and that's another indicator of how many acres is on one. So this is our head, and we've already had to replace these. And you can see, for instance, right here, how this is rounded up here on the gearbox slightly. It just kind of, you can see where it drags and it rounds everything. And you don't have that on this other head, so there's just a lot less acres on it. I'll go over here and show you that same area. Let's see, it's just not polished off like that. No, we need to replace that. You see your gearbox looks almost new there. Just doesn't have a lot of time on it. It did a lot of setting. And see, we've got some chains, like some of those might not free up. The other thing I want to do is I take the chains off. This is a good wear indicator. So this automatically pushes out, you can see it there. And as soon as it gets to the end, chains are done. You'll hop a chain or two and you'll get out and you'll see that you have no more spring left. That's when we replace the chains. Now that's one of the good things about the Geringhoff, this chain removal system with it. They've got the special tool. Makes it quick and easy. So right now we want to take this chain off, these 3 nuts, pull this off, and we're just going to start cleaning all this up. This is going to be our primary cornhead going forward for several years, so we want to give it the full meal deal. Now these little end row augers, snail augers I call them sometimes, that's a coveted option. We've needed those for years, and we just haven't had an opportunity to buy a used cornhead that had them on there. As soon as this one had it on there, that was a big positive for me. Let's see, you can see a lot of the hardware still looks new. This thing's just lived outside. These guys had big plans for it, and it just didn't work out. Now this is different from our head. That must be some kind of an update. Looks like something that we could do, though. We're going to investigate that. The good thing is either head goes in either combine. Both the monitors are the same that fold and unfold, so no matter what, I've got a combine that can pick up a cornhead. Now if we have a cornhead that one part's down, another part's down, so both of them are down, we'll say, we can rob parts off of one and go back and forth. The most important ones are these snouts. We always stock them, but I mean, how many do you stock? If you happen to hit 2, you break your one and then break the one in the shed, you're down to none. Whereas we have 2 of these heads around, you've always got another set of those sitting here too. And if you price what those are new, whew, they're pretty pricey. So these are sun faded, but we have to replace those every year anyway, or most years. Now this had head sight on it. We did not have that on our other one. Ours is a little different than that. I see a bolt missing. So just little things like that we got to figure out. Now it's only a 2 sensor, which I thought was strange. Ours is a 3 on the other one. Really getting a good chance to look it over some more. They're just little fine details that we always find after one's ran. This has simply been ran the last time, traded, and set on a lot for a long period of time. Biggest thing I noticed is it seems like they're having more trouble losing these than we do. We normally don't lose these. Chain that's getting a little kinked. We'll get those off there and soak them in a little oil. Got it folded up so we can get in the shop, start taking it apart. So this is our first time to fold and unfold. Sometimes you gotta cycle it. That's what Noah's doing right there. We'll get this folded up, get it inside. Some of the deck plates are sticking, which are expected. Sometimes it's got a lock, our 2012 does, that sticks. Yep. This side's raising. This one's doing just like our other one. There's a latch that sticks. Usually does it your first fold or two and then it stops, so I'm going to help him with that. Okay, what we have, there's a lock right here. And I have to pull that back when he goes to unlatch. There it went. Right there. That's going to allow us to fold. Should unfold right there. There we go. First fold up of, well, first time we get to fold it up. Really is a nice head. It just needs some TLC. I got a lot of faith in it. You can see where our joint unions are, where the dogs engage. Not a lot of wear on those. Familiar sight, just like our 2012. See, here's this latch. We can lube it. I'll back this thing in so we're in the shade, do these deck plates. Backing it in, it's closer to sweeping the shop out. It's going to get everything dirty, we know it is, so we're backing it in. I've on the 680. Just going to have it where we can run either head on either machine. Right now the wiring's a little different, but we're going to fix that. It should shut up here in a minute. The EPA beeper says run more, burn more fuel before you shut me off.
Burn out in here anyway.
Got to burn out in the shop. Some of that stuff's ridiculous. That's one of them right there. Burn more fuel to save the environment. We're complaining. One of the nicest things we see about Geringhoff is just how we take the chains on and off. Now these chains are rusted. We're going to work at them. They are not worn out. They're going to run. With the chains off, we can get our deck plates off. We just take 3 nuts off here. This pulls 3 nuts off there, and that's going to expose our snap rolls underneath here, and we'll inspect all that. Now our knives, we'll turn them and check the gaps. We'll reset any gaps that need set. Also our deck plates, when we clean out underneath them, you have to set the initial gap. So this side moves, this side stationary. You want to shut them all the way, set your gaps. You want to set a little narrower than the front, than the back. That keeps things from plugging. We'll reset all those to get it back to stock. So when we hit the button, all these open and they go the same amount, same distance. We're going to drain all our gearboxes. Some of these dust caps, it just needs dust caps. Some, the bearings are a little noisy. Just replace them. All of our poly right here, these guides, well, we got the chains off. It's opportune time to just replace those. We got 2 tools, so we tag team the chains. Our other head, same tool. Now our breathers are in the gearbox are right up here, and what we do each time, we take these breathers out, clean them, To pull this plate, we actually have to pull these Allen bolts here to pull this. So there's a couple other pieces to take off. This was one of your Elite XL updates. They had some wrapping on the top sprockets, so they added these. That was one of the updates. Update where the single drive is. They put an extra brace on this 2013. It appears that it's a kit of some sort. I'm going to be calling Geringhoff, but yeah, just a little extra brace that our other one doesn't have. So we'll install that. Maybe get ours up to date a little better. Now all the gearboxes get drained. We also drain the two on the end. Take this off, these covers. There's a chain in here that's going to need attention. Probably replaced. There's a missing link here that we're going to replace. Just little things, nothing major. Overall, pleased with what we see. Well, it's lunchtime. We've already got all the chains off. Going through, see if we find anything. We broke a couple bolts off in a gearbox, just little things. That's what we're doing down here. One of these broke off. We pull all our deck plates and we're going to clean off underneath. See the debris that builds up. You just literally clean that off. We'll wire wheel these mating surfaces for these deck plates. You can see how quickly you can disassemble. It's just 3 nuts right there. Lift this whole piece off. This deck plate then is sandwiched and it pulls off. Makes it, Geringhoff is really easy to work on, in my opinion. That's one of the big selling points for us. We work on things, we keep things a long time. Geringhoff's been long life for us and still easy to work on. So far I've seen no surprises. If anything, we're in better condition than what I thought. And it doesn't look that way. But all of our deck plates were straight. We found no issues. We're going to change all our fluids, run our knives. These knives are not in bad shape. Now obviously the gap's wide right there. You got to rotate them to tighten the gap. But you're talking just that little bit at the beginning has got some wear, which is common. Got a lot of life left in them. We're not going to replace those. It rotates fine. Of the chains, there's 2 that were really tight. We're either going to replace them or try to free them up. All of the chains are off and we're going to oil them, get them freed up before we put them back on. Likely run this head first and just see how it runs, make sure everything works good, but real happy with what I see. We will go through, we'll wire wheel, especially on these mating surfaces, clean all this up. Make sure the polys are good. There's poly guides on all of these right here, and see they're worn. So we'll go ahead and replace those. And poly runs on these surfaces, and what happens, you get debris, it gets left in there, and then this head's lived outside, so it kind of makes this rough where those slide. And if you just clean that up every year, take these off, clean that up, it's not hard to do. It takes an afternoon while you're doing it, and it's well worth it. We've been doing ours every year. We take them apart. We find little things with the head sometimes, but the main thing is just getting them cleaned out, getting them readjusted so you know what you got. And if you do that, you'll run all season and likely not touch this head. So I'm over here doing a chain on the auger. Takes a 60 chain. These side gearboxes are good and tight. There's no lash in them. I always take the old chain here and just lay it next to new. And then use our splitting tool to clean here, and it's just, there's a lot of areas where the paint just looks new still. Most of the guys don't take these deck plates off, and you should. I doubt these have been taken off. Maybe they have, but it just seems like there's debris under there like they've not even been off. Now Reynolds John Deere called and we got stalk stompers in. I bought a set of NDYs. We run NDYs on our other heads, so they're just an identical set, but we got to mount them. This didn't have any stalk stompers with it. Geringhoff, they're pretty easy to do. Here's your main bar, and I'm sure they attach right there. I could just go look at our other heads, a good thing. We just look at the other one where they're done. So we're going to change the oil in 14 gearboxes total, 12 rows, and the 2 side gearboxes. Every one of these plugs in this aluminum right here from setting was stuck. Noah got all those broke free. All of our bolts up here were stuck, and he broke one off. We're going to let it set overnight with some blaster and then drill it the rest of the way, probably just drill it out. We haven't found anything. We find a little debris on the magnets, which ours doesn't have that, but if we ran ours, say 3 or 4 years, it'd have that much on the magnet. Nothing real big, just little tiny pieces, which, like Brian said, that's our filtration system for our oil. They just have this little magnet, and it picks up debris. We expected some surprises, and there have been some, but overall, we kind of knew what we were looking at by having one of these. By already owning one, we knew what to look at. A little better. As soon as he gets every one of these plugs out and we see clean oil, we have got away with this and gotten a good deal on a good head. Just a few more to go, and we know that we don't have anything going on. Not that we thought we did anyway, but it's always nice to know. Chains are going to have to be oiled and messed with. There's just some life left in them. They look terrible. They've sat outside. We can free them up, I think. Any of them that doesn't free up, we'll just put new ones on. Lots of progress being made on this head. Brennan just cut a barrel in half. We're going to put them down in oil to free these chains up. The stalk stompers, he's got one started here. All that looks like that's a go. Stalk stompers from NDY come in nice. Packaged on this little skid. Now they don't use poly, they're just like our other head. This is not on our 2012, but it is on this. They want $1,200 for this. We haven't ran it on the other one. I thought we'd add it, but not for $1,200. I think I'll make something instead. This is simply a heim end and a bar. It goes in between, and you use this heim to push and put pressure. It's just not worth $1,200. That's a great idea. And it's not so deep that we can't reach down and get them like my one. Before we had a plastic barrel, we cut the top, and every year we took the chains off and we soak them in oil. But you have to reach down in the barrel. So this works out a lot better. We're going to soak those. I don't know what new chains are, but they're not free. So we're going to soak them and see what we can do. So we're recycling the gear oil out of the boxes. We're just dumping it on the chains. So let's see what we got. We don't want to buy cornhead chains. I bet that does a lot of good. Yes. Just soaking them down. Beautiful, guys. Those will be new chains when we're done. Looks good, guys. That's going to free those up. Now, Brennan wire wheeled every one of the deck plates. We'll set those back on, and when we do, this side moves. This side is stationary. We move this all the way in to close our gap. Then we set the stationary side to set that gap. When we do that on all 12 rows, and this moves, it will open those deck plates the same. Without setting that, there's no way those open the same. You manually set that when you're getting all this. You set your dimensions, and then it should stay there for the year. If you take it apart in the field, you know those numbers, and you just try to put it back where it was. But each year, you should run your deck plates. You should take them off like this, clean underneath here. Good morning. Checking on some progress. Brennan's got every one of these deck plates cleaned up. Lash and our gearboxes are all tight. The knives really aren't bad. We could adjust a couple of them. I found there may be a couple we could mess with, but there's a lot of them aren't even out of adjustment, so we're in great shape. So these are NDY. Got them from Reynolds, our John Deere dealer. It's got a couple of little hints or little tips here. Take the bolts out, put the new studs in. We torque them to 100 foot-pounds because it's an aluminum gearbox. And we're in business. It'll hang right there. This spring, the little tip they gave was when we loosen this bolt, this spring will come undone. It's hard to keep that, well, it's a mean spring. So as long as we clamp it right here, it should hold it. Also, right here, there's a bracket. So the thickness of this bracket, you've got to put washers on this side so that they space the same. That basically was the summary of the paper. Walked out to our 2012, but here's our finished look. And all of them aren't on. It's been on the trailer, but we run all 12 rows. This, your corn row runs here. And you smash. They call them stalk stompers. You smash those down. Our modern corn hybrids have gotten so tough, the stalks will eat the tires. So you kind of need to lay them over. It helps with decomposition. They were on all 12 rows of this head we have here when it was bought used, and we kind of just adapted to that. So we're going to repeat the same process, same brand of stalk stompers, those NDYs. We're going to get those all hung on here so they match. Have a matching set of 12-row folding heads. Our worst chains are down in oil. I'm guessing we saved the chains. We're gaining on this. It just has a series of, we replace these bolts with these long studs that have these spacers, and it puts our mount on. Our stalk stomper is going to go there. They were good about making clearance. It's a perfect fit. If they had here we had to add washers to space to keep them level. So far, nothing real major though. Pretty easy to install, a lot of repetition. Getting ready to go back on with our side cover. There's a bearing in here, and a lot of people forget to grease this. Put a new chain. So we'll put our cover back on, and that's kind of an annual thing. Now through the season, we'll pull it and we'll check in here. It'll have to be tensioned. You tension your chain right here. I think there's 3 or 4 stalk stompers off to trailer these, and we always have bolts in them. And we always forget which rows to take off. So now I'm going to use my new pins, and I'm going to put the new pins wherever there's a row that we take off, and I'm going to bolt the rest of them on. This is going to identify which rows to take off when we're in the dark, and we've got to do that, which I don't know how many times we take the wrong ones off. Happens all year. Has happened for several years. Well, we got a solution for that, and it's right here. So we're going to use these. Not going to put them in every row. There's no sense in having quick pins on something that's going to be stationary on the head forever. So we're just going to put it on the ones we take off and kind of make both heads nice. Once again, utilizing things on both heads to make the whole process better. See these pins, you just slide this in instead of having a nut and a bolt and an impact. Push in right here. That slides, keeps it from coming out. Pretty trick. Make it nice for access to your chain. I just usually, for in the off season, we always take these off. Our other head right now, I believe it's off. But this thing's air out. Otherwise, your chain's guaranteed to be rusty if you don't clean this out. And most of them aren't cleaned out, especially if you trade for one. If you get one of these, the deck plates and this, they're not going to be cleaned out. The first Geringhoff we bought, we went to the auction and we looked, and the Geringhoffs that were traded had these broke. Guys would not do their deck plates. I've mentioned it before. And when they don't do the deck plates, this puts stress on this arm. Well, the older Geringhoffs, these arms would break. So the first head we bought had these arms all hanging down, broke off. And I believe that's why it got traded and went so cheap. It really wasn't that hard to fix. We cleaned those off. Read the manual, says to clean the deck plates every year. Well, guys don't do that. So it's an advantage. If you can find a Geringhoff with those broken, sometimes you'll find one with low acres, just simply because the guy's not cleaning them up, plays into it. Keep these things cleaned up. They run a long time. This head at 10,000 acres, it's got a lot of life. Our other head, by math, is around 30,000 total acres that we know of, so they run a long time. Now, as we put these stompers on, we had these springs help with returning this. Well, that's under a lot of pressure. If we didn't put a vice grip right here, it's just going to pop that loose. And then we got to refigure that out. I don't want to do that, so we put clamps on so it wouldn't move. The NDY manual kind of gave us that little tip, and that worked out great. Now, here's an interesting fact about Geringhoff. They've got multiple slip clutches. They've got slip clutches that are internal and they're oil bath. And this is also a built-in slip clutch on a Geringhoff. They round these teeth off of the top sprockets. By rounding those teeth, it will slip this before it's going to break something inside this gearbox. So pretty handy the Geringhoff is with the slip clutch and the protection. Those slip clutches are in oil all the time, so it's not hard. It's not hard on the clutch. It's a long life item. Really like how that is. The only negatives, if it's too loud, you can't hear when it's slipping. You'll be slipping and you won't realize it. Doesn't hurt it, but it'll slip longer than you want it to. So that's kind of common. That'll happen here and there, but I think they have one of the best slip clutch systems going. I really do. Next thing, we've inspected under here. We got to grease this slip joint. Now, Geringhoff's unique. Deere and every other manufacturer uses a chain on this side. Sprocket to a sprocket and a chain. It runs under a cover. You're going to see them on the sides of the heads. Now, the Geringhoff uses this shaft in between these gearboxes. That's unique to Geringhoff. Nothing is heavier than this right here. I really like that. Okay, we've got everything cleaned up, putting it back together. Now, as the deck plates go on, one side is adjustable, this side's going to move. This side's stationary, so we're going to set our gaps, slide our plates against it, and this is going to set our gap. Now we have this all the way closed, set our gap, which I've got it reversed. No, I didn't either, I had it right. Set the stationary gap, and then when you open them, these all open together. But they all have to be set, or that doesn't work out. So we're working on that now. To set these on, those set one on, it slides under a groove in the front. Put it on, there it sets. So this is on. 3 nuts on each side, so 6 total per row. Tighten this down. And see, it gets it right on. Slides right on. We'll move these to get the nuts set. Usually if I set them to where the nuts go on, that's about right. The screw is right there. You can see where it slides. It overlaps. It's kind of tricky to get it to hook up right there, but it holds our deck plate underneath. Bren's putting our washers and nuts on. We'll go back through and do our tightening. In a few minutes, man, we get these on fast. We'll be on in no time. There's a few of these sun faded, just another product that's setting out. We never lose these caps, and this one's got a bunch of them missing. Like this one, it's pretty bad. This one's just trying to come off. Gonna look into those. So this bearing's out. We're trying to pull this sprocket. It just took the plastic off. Got it. There's the bearing. It probably would have ran, guys, but it's set out in the rain. It's not worth it. Let's do it now and sit out in the field, right? Okay. Now, what other one's bad? Kind of go through and shake them, Brennan, and see what you come up with. I had the wiggle right there. Is that worth doing? We can pull it right off. Probably need to do it. Okay, we'll do it next. We can pull the cap off. Try to save the cap, but if you can't, no big deal. I was debating on it. I left it off. Maybe we'll just go ahead and pull it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
pretty loose.
really loose compared to the others.
Let's do those 3. It didn't come with the hoods, so we're going to look into this, but what we got, Noah?
Yeah, it's got a piece of metal on the back end.
So if we had the back end and the rubber.
And then you got your carriage bolts.
Well, we've got a few parts to get, but overall, this thing looks good. Deck plates have all been set. We've got a few parts coming. Looks like a cornhead again.